All right, so we just finished the three um, uh, calculated fields, so to speak. I mean, these are also calculated fields, but these next three fields are specifically lookups. Okay. All right, and let's take a look at how we're gonna do that. All right. Now here in okay, so with lookups, there are essentially two ways you can do a lookup. Right. I'll show you both. I'm kind of gonna do it the easy way again, just to show you. Um, so the first field for the lookup is this one that has the GL, and that is looking at another tab in the spreadsheet where um, it's got the if it's debit, credit, and the GL. Okay, so I'm going to show you two ways we could do this. One way is we can do something called, or I like to call it an internal lookup. So it's going to be internal within the workspace. All right, so what if I click on the drop down for the debit credit column and I go down to column and I go to new lookup column. So I click on new lookup column and I'm going to call it GL. I think that's what we called it, right? Let's see. Yeah, so the GL, it's called GL. All right. Then over here, there's an import button. So it's looking at the field. So you got to tell it. So the first thing is you name the field. Then here you have an input field, and it's looking at the debit credit column. If I needed to change it, I could, but that's the one I want. When you click this import button, what it will do is it'll read that column and give back the unique listing of fields. So it's saying, hey, in this entire column, which has 91 records, there's only two values, debit and credit. Okay, and then in here, I can type the information. So if it's debit, um, I could type it or just copy it. So I can just copy this and paste it there, and then go back and copy this and paste it here. Okay, so when I click OK, there it is. Whoops, I'm too fast. There it is. That's the debit credit column. Um, the other approach, okay, and I don't, we won't spend. I'm not going to necessarily do it here. Maybe we'll do it in another video. Um, the other approach is to do a join. Okay, so in here in Monarch, there's a way you could do a join and you can combine files. So I could, um, well, I'll just show you actually. If I were, here, let me do this. Okay, so the other approach, okay, now let's say, um, let's say that I had a separate file. Like there was a separate file where this information existed. All right, so I'll just open that up just so you see it. So let's say, okay, so here's the same information in a completely separate file. All right, now what we could have done, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we're going to have maybe a different training to talk more about joins. But what we could have done is um, I could take that GL lookup spreadsheet, drag it in here. I'm going to import it as a regular spreadsheet, so I'm going to click No here. And that's the sheet name. I'm going to load that selected. So here I brought in that information. And the other way, um, I'll just rename it. Uh, the other way to do this is to combine them. So I would take this table and this table and do a click to join, and I would do a lookup join, Okay, like I said, I'm not gonna, I just want to show you, right? In another training, I'm gonna take slow it down and talk more about the joins, but just want to show you the other way that we could have done this. And I would have done uh, debit credit combined with debit credit, and then just give me that column. And there, and then this is the second approach that we could have done for this. Okay, but again, don't worry about this. Um, I will cover joins and the combine window in a separate training because there's so much you can do there. Um, so again, so I'm just going to discard this and I'll just delete this and then we'll just keep going. All right, so we did this join and all the other ones are going to be exactly kind of exactly the same. So let's take a look at the next one here, which is media description. Okay, so same thing. So um, I can do it here. I can choose to do it here. So I can go here to column, new lookup column, and this is going to be based on the column called media, and I'm going to import it. So those are all the fields. And I believe that I can just copy this information and just I can click right here at the top left and just replace. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to call this media description in full. I'm going to call it media description in full. So, all right, so that'll do that. And then I think there's one last column on the spreadsheet. The last column is the country. All right, so go here and I'm going to create another lookup column. I'm going to call it country. And this, I believe, is based on the contacts. So I'm going to look for our customer, I think. No, 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 not the customer. Um, so if you make a mistake, you can highlight them all and just remove selected. And I believe I'm looking for contact. Yeah, contact. And I'm going to import. Okay. And again, I can do the same thing. Go here to contact, highlight all of this. Just call Control C, click here again, and then I right click here, and then I just replace. Okay, all right, and that's it. So I click OK, and there it is. All right, so if I just zoom out a little bit, what you'll see is that, and I just kind of put them next to each other, you'll see that all of the formula columns we had here in this Excel file, they're all here now in Monarch. Okay, they're all here. They're all here now. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and then the next and final video, what we'll do is we'll we'll build the pivot tables here inside Monarch in the Data Prep Studio. Okay.